Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. I was watching a podcast the other day. I forget the name of it, and they had Birdman on there. And Birdman, CEO of Cash Money Records, the infamous Cash Money Records, and he was talking about how he was the best to ever do it in the game as far as being a CEO. And he went on to explain, how many records he sold, how much money he's made, and that solidified his greatness, which it does. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best just because your numbers are the best. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to give you a prime example, and I'm going to do a comparison of the two. I'm going to correlate the two. So hopefully you all will be able to, understand exactly where I'm coming from. You got LeBron James. You got Michael Jordan. Well, this generation, they say that LeBron James is better. But my generation, they say that Michael Jordan was better. We live in a what have you done for me now kind of world. So when you look at LeBron, it's like there's no way Jordan could have been better than LeBron. However, other than the highlights that you watched on YouTube and things of that nature, you didn't actually have an opportunity to see Jordan play. So then they'll go on to say, well, look at the numbers. LeBron has the most points. He has more rebounds. He has more assists. He has more of this, more of that. And he does. But guess what? There's a key element to all of that. A key point. He's played longer. But then they'll go on to say, well, it just goes to show, his greatness, is he played longer, so therefore he was even greater. Not necessarily. You got to understand, Jordan went to college for 3 years. LeBron came straight out of high school. Jordan quit a couple times. It wasn't his goal to play 20 years. It's LeBron's goal to play with, his son, one of his sons. So he's going to have to play beyond 20 years in the NBA. So it's different. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, his numbers are better than Jordan's. But as I mentioned, he played a lot longer. And that's no slight to LeBron because he's doing a tremendous job being able to play that long, because your average person can't even play, 10 years in the league, let alone 15. LeBron's 20 years in. So that's salute, hats off to you. But that doesn't make him better than Jordan. Now, when I look at Birdman, yeah, his numbers are outstanding. But that doesn't necessarily make him the best CEO that there's ever been. Because in my eyes, Master P is the greatest record exec / CEO ever. And I don't know if that'll ever change. The same way with Jordan, there's no player that's ever going to come along that's going to make me say he does something better than Jordan, or he does everything better than Jordan. Well, LeBron, he has more rebounds than Jordan, and he has more assists. Well, he has more rebounds. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's 6'9", 260, or whatever, somewhere right around in that range. Jordan was 6'6", 220? So, yeah, LeBron's bigger. He's going to have more rebounds. They have different types of games. Jordan was a straight-out assassin. He wasn't trying to get 10 assists. Jordan's going to put that ball in the hole. To where LeBron, when you need him to make a bucket, he can, but he's going to try to make his team better. Like this, he's more of a Magic Johnson type of individual. Now, when you look at Master P in comparison to Birdman, P gave up the music game rather, years ago. He hasn't been in the music industry for I don't know how long. Yeah, he tried to make a little comeback with, No Limit Forever and the new No Limit. But when you go and you look at No Limit, the original No Limit records, I haven't seen anyone remotely come close to the level that No Limit Records was on. I'm going to tell you, when P originally started, I had the pleasure of seeing P. You know, they came to town and they did like a little small club. The club maybe held, I don't know, 300 people, tops. 300 people. And unfortunately, that club ended up getting shot up that night. You know, P played that I'm About It. And, you know, people just lost their minds, man. And one thing led to the next. Club got shot up. If you from where I'm from, you probably understand. And we just gonna leave it at that. But just know I was there. You see what I'm saying? And, you know, P really got it out of the mud. You have a lot of artists saying, oh, I got it out of the mud. And that's not saying that Cash Money didn't either. I'm definitely not saying that. They from the same place. They, 10, 15 minutes away from each other, if that far. Same radius or what have you. So they got it out of the mud as well. But the thing is, P did it first, and he laid the foundation. He laid the blueprint so that other record labels such as Cash Money Records could come along and run with it. But when I say P got it out the mud, I'm talking about, I've seen him a couple times and I think about it. He's hitting every hood spot, every club. It didn't matter if he was getting paid in the beginning or how much he was getting paid in the beginning. He's passing out his CDs. He's trying to sell them for $20, $10, $15 on the streets. Here, I ain't got number $7. Here, run that. You know what I'm saying? T-shirts. He's putting T-shirts on homeless people. He's doing whatever he could possibly do. His street team, they hanging signs on the, on light poles and whatever they could possibly do to market No Limit Records. And, as he's mentioned, he was going on tour with, opening up for Tupac and Death Row Records, and and no one knew who he was. It's kind of like this podcast game or the YouTube game. You got your larger YouTubers that have significant numbers, 150, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. And then you have your smaller YouTubers that may only have, 500 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, 1,500. You see what I'm saying? So you don't necessarily look down on those people for only having 500 or 1,000 subscribers, because guess what? In time, they could pass you up. Same way what happened with P. He's going on tour, him and C Murder. They having to pay their own way. Death Row and all them guys, they getting paid. And nobody even knew who P was. But as time went on and the grind and the hard work and the world caught on, guess what? He passed everybody up. Now some of them same people is working for him. And, as I mentioned, P, he continued to grind and grind and grind. He had to make adjustments. Things wasn't necessarily working out at first, so we said, okay, it's not working this way. Let me figure this thing out. Let me, figure out how I can get better. What can I do to change the scenario? See, oftentimes in life, man, we'll do something, we'll try it, and if it doesn't work, we're not willing to make adjustments. They always say that about coaches. That's what makes a coach great. When you can make mid-game, in-game adjustments. Okay, we've been trying to run this play, we've been trying to run that play, we've been trying to run the ball, we've been trying to pass the ball, it's not working, so let me switch it up. And you have to have the ability to switch things up. And that's what P did. He was in Richmond, California. He got his sound. He got that, what he was looking for, but he took it back home to New Orleans, mixed what he got in Richmond, California with that New Orleans sound. No Limit Records blew up. Now, we all know the story of No Limit Records. I don't have to, go through it per se, because everybody knows. But I will say that another thing that really makes Master P such a great record executive or CEO, not only was he an artist, he was the label's #1 selling artist. Think about that. Not only was he an artist on his own label, he was the #1 selling artist. When No Limit was dropping every week or every other week, back in the 90s, Master P would just get groups, different groups. And he'd be like, look, man, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars and I'm going to put you on. So he'll go get a group. You might give him a couple $100,000, whatever he gave him. I don't know the numbers, but I know, it wasn't any publishing or anything like that involved. And I'm going to put you on. I'm going to get you out the projects. I'm going to get you out the streets. And he'll put him on, and he'll jump on 2 or 3 songs. Executive produced, Master P. 3 songs featuring Master P. A group that we never heard of. But when you seen that tank on the front of the album, when you was at the record store, because back then, actually it started with tapes. But when it really, really blew, it went to CDs. And once we seen that tank on the front of the album, we was buying it. It didn't matter who it was. We didn't know who the Gambino family was. We didn't know who the Crime Family or what's some of the groups that wasn't as big on No Limit. I don't really remember off the top of my head. But I think the Crime Family was actually one of the TRU albums with him, Silk, and C Murder on the cover. But I'm just simply saying there was a lot of groups, Big Ed, rest in peace, Big Ed, no disrespect or anything like that, but we didn't know who these people were. Only thing we knew was it had a tank on the front of the album and it said featuring Master P on 3 or 4 songs, 2, 3, 4 songs. So people bought it. Album was at bare minimum was going gold. At bare minimum. And so the influence that he had on the industry, and P understood at the time, he understood that I got this rap game in a headlock. And I'm not going to stop. Kind of like what Drake's doing now. Why stop? Because you never know. That year you take off, 2 years, somebody could easily slide in your spot. So Drake, he understands the formula. Lil Wayne understands the formula. Master P was the first to do that. And he stayed steady. All of his albums, if you go back to, he had a couple independent albums he was selling out of the trunk. They selling 200,000 and 300,000. Just imagine, out of your trunk. Going all the way back to The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me. You got 99 Ways to Die. Mama's Bad Boy, not in any particular order, but all those albums were selling nice units independently. Then he got on with Priority Records. He got the distribution deal, the 85-15 split. I keep 85%. Y'all get 15% for distributing my music. I pay for all my own marketing, advertisement. The only thing I need you all to do is distribute. I don't want no money up front initially. You see what I'm saying? I need the whole wop. And he comes with that ice cream man. Goes gold. For y'all that don't know what going gold means, he sells at minimum of 500,000. Ain't no telling how many is sold to date, but at the time he went gold. And he came back with that ghetto dope, multi-platinum. Then he comes back with the Last Done, 4 or 5 million sold. You see what I'm saying? So he's doing all of these things back to back, and in between he's dropping 504 Boys, TRU albums. He's dropping soundtracks. He's shooting movies. I'm About It. The Last Dime, the movie. He got West Coast Bad Boys, part 1 and 2. Like, there's so many different down south hustlers. He's doing features for people. I've never seen a better hustle in the game. I've never seen anybody go as hard, pause, double pause, as Master P and No Limit Records went in the 90s. He taught, Snoop said it, he taught the record business how to get money. Because you had a lot of artists then, they was barely making anything. The record company was keeping all the money. So yeah, they might have made a little money on the road. They had a hot album, they could go tour and things of that nature. But Snoop Dogg said, Master P showed us how to get the money. Not money, money. And I believe that. It's documented. That's the great Fleet Johnson. It's documented. So yeah, he didn't end up doing the overall numbers that Cash Money Records did because P got out the record business. You know, he went to fulfill his goals, his dreams, and try to play NBA basketball. A lot of people think that was P's downfall. You know, the way that he kind of just left the label like that. But, you know, he did what he felt like he, you know, had to do at the time. But at the time, when No Limit was hot, No Limit was hot. You never seen a wrestler, you never seen a rapper on wrestling, rather. This man was on wrestling. Had the No Limit Soldiers. You never seen a rapper with a doll. He had the Master P doll. You never seen a rapper on, when he was on MTV Cribs, I believe, with the gold ceilings. Now, he later on went to say that was a terrible investment because he really couldn't sell the house for anything, and one room cost $3 million in the house. But nevertheless, these are things that we had never seen. We never seen a rapper with the helicopter with the Gucci, you know what I mean, covering on the outside. We never seen a rapper with his own shoe when P had those Converse. Yeah, I had some of those. When P used to have the beanies and it had No Limit around, going all the way around it. Then he had the No Limit clothing, the sweatsuits. These are things that we never ever seen. He was the first. Soulja Boy, he was the first. Soulja Boy say he was the first. Nah, P was the first to do a lot of things. And it's crazy because you just now seeing certain artists doing these things that he did 25 years ago. They're just now to the point to where they can start doing these things. I'm quite sure if he looks back, he probably wishes that he had done, you know, things a little different. But guess what? We all do. If P had to continue going on in the rap game and didn't try to go pursue an NBA career, man, there's no telling. You'd be talking about him being a hip-hop's first billionaire, to be honest. Because a lot of these artists, hip-hop, you know, artists or what have you, they're billionaires, but they're not billionaires. Now, the reason I say that, well, real kids, either they're a billionaire or they're not. No, that's not necessarily true because they go off of your net worth. You see what I'm saying? Your net worth today may be 1.2 billion. That don't mean you just have access to 1.2 billion. That's if I sold everything, liquidated everything. Okay, my worth would be 1.2 billion. It don't mean that you have 1.2 billion. You see when Kanye lost his deal, and he's gonna ultimately get it back, but when Yeezys, he went from whatever billions he was worth to under a billion. When Diddy lost his deal with Ciroc, and then all the things he's going through now, that goes down. It goes way down. So it's just what you're worth at the particular time. P would have way more bread than a lot of these guys. He just, you know, I don't necessarily want to say he mismanaged things because this guy's a genius. He's a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. So who am I to call somebody, you know what I'm saying, to say something bad about somebody or whatever, or talk about somebody mismanaged their career when he's still successful to this day. And I believe he got a hit with this cereal. I believe that Snoop cereal is going places. I genuinely do. You know, so that's my reasoning for saying that Master P is the greatest record exec that I've seen. And again, there's no slight on Birdman. Birdman even he said it. I'm still trying to do what this man did. So yeah, Birdman's made more money in the music industry. He's, you know, accomplished more, sold more records. But that doesn't necessarily make you the best. I've never seen a bigger movement than No Limit Records. And you've had some big movement. You know, you've had 50 Cent. You got Rocafella had it with Jay-Z. Eminem. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've had some huge Ja Rule at Murder Inc. You've had some very successful artists come through, and they were very, very popular. Very popular. They wasn't fooling No Limit, though. No Limit Soldiers, even now. When P goes on tour right now, he's still selling out. Think about it. It's 2000 and it just became 2024. I believe he has a world tour set up for this year. Because typically, he'll go to a couple spots. He'll do a couple shows, a couple weekends or whatever. Pick up a nice bag. And then you don't see him for a few months. And I genuinely think, this is just an opinion, because I don't know the man. I genuinely think that he does that a lot for his artists. Or for people, that he's still cool with. His former, or his prior artists, rather, that he had. Put a little money in their pocket. You see what I'm saying? Mia X, which I'm sure she's doing well on her own, but, Servon, Fiend, and, Crazy, and, all the people, his brother Silk, all these individuals that they're doing their own thing on the side, but I'm Master P. I still got a name. I could still go sell out a 20,000 seat arena. 20,000 people. 22,000 I could sell out. I'm probably going to cut the promoter out. What do I need a promoter for? My name. No Limit Records. Master P. Reunion tour. I bring a couple special guests, Juvie, Keith Sweat, just different people that you've seen, Gotti, Yo Gotti, just different people that I've seen that he's brought out, but he doesn't even need them. And that's, respectfully I say that. He's selling out. 20,000, average ticket's $100. Yeah, you can get in for $50, $60, But then some tickets are going to be $200 and $300. $150, $200. Lower level. Average ticket's $100. You sell 20,000 seats. You do the math. 20,000 seats, 20,000 tickets, same thing. It's $2 million. Gross. Ticketmasters, they get their cut. You got to pay for advertising, promotion, pay for the artists, pay everybody. P's keeping the majority of that money. You best believe that the majority of that money is coming back to the company, rather. Now, he has to pay out, but the majority of that money, we're not even talking about merchandising. However, other money that they make while they on the road. And he's paying his artists. Mac. You know what I'm saying? Mercedes. Different Sons of Funk. All the people that he's bringing out, he's able to pay them. I don't know what they make, But if he gives, before Mystical got locked up, if I tell you, look, man, we doing 2 shows tonight in Dallas. Or 2 shows over the weekend, rather. We're going to do Friday night, we're going to do Saturday night. Or say Friday night we're in Dallas. Saturday night we're in, somewhere else in the South. And I'm giving you 20 bands a show. That's 40 G's you done just made. You weren't going to make it nowhere else. Nobody giving you $20,000 a show. $10,000, $15,000 a show. So I think that P really, really does that to help his artists out. Former artists, rather. But at the same time, he's picking up a bag just as well. 30 years later, longer than 30 years. More than 30 years. This man is still, No Limit Records, still can sell out 20,000 seats. All respect to Birdman, but without Wayne, you can't sell it. Birdman can't go on tour and sell out 20,000 people. Birdman can't go on tour and sell out 5,000 people. That's just a fact. And again, there's no disrespect. P was a great artist. He may not have been the greatest lyricist, but he was a great artist. He was definitely a great record executive. Best to ever do it, in my opinion. I want y'all to chime in on the comments. Let me know what you think. You know what I mean? You got some great execs. Diddy, despite what he's going through, it doesn't matter. It doesn't take away his accomplishments. Diddy. You got Dame Dash, Jay-Z, Suge Knight, Luke, Tony Draper, Suave House. All of these guys, Jay Prince. And there's more. There's tons more. I just can't, off the top of my head. Irv Gotti. All these guys, man, they did it. But They wasn't doing it like P was doing. Imagine how No Limit Records was then if they had that same popularity right now with social media. How much money would P really be worth at that point? Same way with Michael Jordan. Imagine if Jordan, how he was then, played in the NBA right now with social media, with all the money that they getting paid now. Imagine the money that Michael Jordan really would have generated. Just different eras, different times. That's what it's about, man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment, as I mentioned. Definitely share, subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? If you're not already subscribing, be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. As I mentioned in my prior videos, some reason people are saying that they're not receiving my video notifications. I drop almost every day. If not every day, every other day. So if you're not receiving any notifications, just check. Just check and see. You'll see Real Kens. We at you. You know what I mean? We in the house like kitchen sinks, man. You see what I'm saying? Real Kens TV. No Limit Records, man. Coldest to ever do it. We out.